One of my favorite comedy skits is by Bo Burnham. It's titled Ironic, and there's a part to it that says, I was watching Al Gore on CNN. He was talking and talking and talking, and then, out of boredom, my pet polar bear shot himself. The irony is embedded in how Democrats are environmentalists, and the polar bear is a species going extinct. Al Gore was known for being a bit of a boring guy. He was a nerdy Democrat. In the year 2000, there was an election, Democrat Al Gore versus Republican George W. Bush. Al Gore, again, was a bit of a boring, nerdy guy. Bush was cool, like a new version of his dad, and he had somewhat of a separate identity to him, so people really liked him. He was even considered someone you could sit down and have a beer with. That same cool guy that got us caught in the Iraq War caused the second worst economic status the country has ever been in, the Great Recession. 9/11 fell during his presidency, which I do not fault him for. However, his response to it was absolutely atrocious, and we as a nation chose Bush. Yet he was most likely not the best choice. According to Huck Gutman of the University of Vermont, George W. Bush is quite likely the worst president in the 200-year history of the United States. It has enormous implications for the international community, since his country is not a small republic like the Maldives or Andorra, but a global behemoth. End quote. People most commonly vote in a way that actually hurts them and does not represent their views. This speech will hope to give you a few examples of this, show the effects, and explain to you why your parents have been voting wrong their entire lives. You should absolutely not vote based on policies that do not matter in the grand scheme of things. Let me explain. People commonly stick to policies when voting that actually hurt them more than they know. One example, I was helping my mother vote for a treasurer in Missouri. She was looking into the Republican candidate and was upset by him because he was pro-life. She said she was going to vote for the Democratic option because of it. This would not be so bad if it was not somebody who had nothing to do with abortion. But the treasurer has nothing to do with abortion. He handles money. Another example, in 2024, lots of people voted on issues such as transgender athletes and tariffs. I'm talking about both Democrats and Republicans. Some people who would be extremely anti-tariff may vote for a Republican because they do not believe in transgender athletes in sports. Vice versa, a Democrat may believe in tariffs, but also believe in transgender athletes being in sports. So why is it important? My mom voting for a treasurer based on his stance on abortion is detrimental because she could lose out on a candidate that has so much potential. What if he were the best treasurer of all time and would fix our economy within hours? I'm not saying this is the case, I'm simply saying that it could have been. But she was going to throw her vote away because she did not agree with something that someone had nothing to do with. Going back to transgender athletes in sports or tariffs, I'm going to restate that again for you guys. Transgender individuals playing sports or taxing nations based on their imports to the United States, causing global tensions and affecting the economy. One of these issues involves the world and affects the world significantly more than the other. I'm not even going to tell you which, you know. Again, I am not saying that these are not both issues in America, but you should be able to decipher that one is significantly more important right now than the other. The only instance where the former option is more important than the latter is if you are directly affected as an athlete, and even in most cases as an athlete, you won't be directly affected, and even if you are, you're still more likely to be affected by tariffs. I've explained to you all why and how you should, I've explained to all of you why you should vote on why voting on unimportant issues hurts our country. So here's what you need to do in order to vote to the best of your abilities. First, stop voting based on the letter next to someone's name. In the 2008 election, it was Democrat Barack Obama versus Republican John McCain. Our school took a political compass test, and I ended up being the highest ranked Democrat in the school. In 2008, I would have voted for McCain, simply because he was more experienced than Obama, and Obama was brand new on the global political level. I am the biggest Democrat in the school, but I simply thought McCain would do a better job at handling the ability to run the country. I may have disagreed with him, but it just proves that looking at the letter next to someone's name is better for certain candidates. On another note, at one point, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, yet he was one of our most liberal presidents by the time he was running. Second, grade the people you vote for. I was talking to Mr. Darren Kelling. He's a history teacher at the Eldon High School. He actually chooses the 10 most important issues to him and grades somebody on each issue and ranks them in accordance. Now, I'm not saying that you need to pull out a sheet of paper and do calculations to vote, but decide what issues affect you personally. Make good decisions when voting. Don't vote on whether trans people can play tennis. Vote on socioeconomic statuses of our nation. Vote for human rights, and do not look at the letter next to somebody's name. In conclusion, your beliefs are valid no matter what. That's what's so great about this country. And if you want to ignore me, you very well may. But I hope I have convinced you to grade who you vote for, not to look at the letter next to someone's name. I hope you understand that voting for someone based on something like their stance on trans people in the NCAA is a waste of a vote, as in the NCAA, 0.00196% of people are transgender, publicly. Don't vote for someone if they have an opinion that does not affect their position. If you don't vote properly, we may end up as the polar bear on Bo Burnham's skit, shooting ourselves.